Hi, my name is Ilana, and this is the INC Capital channel, where we talk about global citizenship and residency by investment solutions. So today I'm very fortunate to be in the beautiful offices in the heart of Lisbon of 3 Capital, who recently announced a merger with C2 Capital. So with me today is Nuno Serafim, who
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time and inviting us to your beautiful office. So I've known Nuno for a while, and we've done a lot of work in Portugal together. And 3 has been very well known as a fund manager working in the bond market.
Mm-hmm.
Your own personal interest is very much in digital assets.
Yeah.
And I know there's a little bit of exposure to that still. But maybe you can just give us an overview of what happened, how you are now merging and you will become a bigger business, and then what will the focus be going forward?
Okay, no, absolutely. Thank you again for having me here. So at 3 we are a very novel company in the market, although most of the team has a lot of experience. Myself and the investment director, the operations director, we are here for more than 20 years.
Yes.
Actually, the company is very recent. So actually, our approach was basically to also offer something different from the crowd. Mm-hmm. And because we had a very genuine interest on Bitcoin and on digital assets, we basically try to put everything together and offering basically multi-asset funds with a sleeve with digital assets, basically Bitcoin, right? So
yes.
On the longer run, we really think that will make a difference. Actually, it makes us quite different from the crowd on one hand. On the second hand, we are strong believers on digital assets. But although we are only a sleeve of 3 to 4 or 5% of deal portfolio.
Okay, depending, I guess, on the market.
Yeah, depending on the market. And our conviction right now is around 3%, because 2025 was a very difficult year for Bitcoin. 2024 was an incredible year.
Yes.
It is what it is. It's basically a feature of that specific asset class. Bitcoin works that way. But we think that the beauty of the thing is that on the short run, I think the impact is not that much, but on the longer run, we still believe that we can see Bitcoin at 300 or 400 or 500, and that basically gives us an optionality, positive optionality that will reflect into a better performance comparing to our peers.
Okay, very good. That is interesting. But you also bring, or with this merger with C2, they bring something completely different to your combined expertise.
That's the beauty.
So tell me more about that.
That's the beauty of the thing. So my understanding about the market in Portugal, and also the understanding of André, who is the CEO of C2 Capital, was that the market is very fragmented. So nowadays, on the end of 2024, we had like 85 private equity firms in Portugal. So in perspective and in hindsight, in Spain, there is 120, 110. So probably on the end of 2025, we are like more than 100 private equity companies in Portugal, and in Spain probably the same 120 as it was in 2024. So the market is quite fragmented. That's basically one of the first things that we basically detect, and our analysis was basically was one of the features of the market. So very fragmented. So asset management is about scale, and only with scale you can basically give the opportunity to have more specialization on your teams. Yes. And I'm a strong believer that specialization gives you better results on the longer run. On the shorter run is basically more costs, but actually on the longer run, will basically give you the opportunity to deliver a better service, a better product to your clients. So,
and then these products that you're creating are longer term products, right?
Absolutely.
Our clients never invest in Portugal, specifically in the Golden Visa funds. When you're in this for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it's not a short term. It's not a short term investment.
So on the other hand, we basically were very focused on obviously making the things better for us, for our shareholders and for our clients. So actually now we basically offer a bigger platform with more products, with more client services, with more specialists. So I think for the clients will be better, obviously. The scale is also better because we can get access to economics of scale that we couldn't have if we were basically standalone. And actually, I think on the end of the day, it will be good for the clients. It will be good even for the employees, to give them an opportunity
to be part of a
bigger entity.
Yes.
So, and actually, the share on the top of the cake is basically our business. We're very complementary. So there was not overlaps between teams.
Because you've got quite a big focus on fixed interests in 3 and your client service is exceptional.
Open-ended funds.
And
exactly.
Open-ended funds,
so
yes. So
basically, we came from VC. Actually, is a bit of a contradiction. VC, which is high risk, right? But that's why we came from the VC. That one of the reasons is because we like blockchain and we like Bitcoin. Our interest on digital assets is not just because the speculative angle of the asset class, is because we like the technology. So that was basically our starting point was VC. Yes. And then we basically jumped to multi-asset funds where bonds actually get the biggest chunk of our allocation. So actually we can combine, all over the asset classes that are available for us to invest. We have bonds, which are basically and normally the safest one. And on the other hand, we have VC, in this case, we have digital assets.
So you can make the bonds a little bit sexier by adding some Bitcoin.
And C2 was basically on the middle, is a plain vanilla private equity company. So actually we're very complementary in terms of the product that we offer, even in terms of the clients that we have. And in terms of the expertise that each team brings to the table.
How do you've got different funds available now, both closed-end funds and open-ended funds, right? So after the merger,
we have in terms of GV clients or Golden Visa, we have only at 3 Capital we offer open-ended funds right now.
Okay, but will you be adding some of the closed-end funds that C2 currently has?
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
Okay, because that makes it interesting, right? Our investors are mostly focused on open-ended funds at the moment, but I do think
that's the flavor. That's the flavor of the year, the flavor of the day.
Definitely, but these things change, right? So at the moment, I think people are so interested in open-ended funds because of the uncertainty about what's happening in Portugal, and yet when people make this decision, they do make it for the longer term. So I think there's space for both. Just on the actual market at the moment, what do you see? We've spoken a bit about Bitcoin, but what about the rest of the market? What do you see happening in Portugal, around the world? What is your biggest concerns or your biggest opportunities?
Well, concerns we have every day. We have a new concern, right?
that seems to be the case.
And the last 6 weeks have not been easy, because actually where we stand right now is that I'm investing for 25 years or even more than that, and I consider myself an experienced investor. And I like to analyze stuff.
You're a veteran of the industry.
I'm a veteran, but I think right now, the best way to analyze the market probably will not be a veteran of financial markets, but eventually a psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist?
A psychic, or someone that can
crystal ball,
or enters into the head of Trump. And try to understand what he's going to do next, right? That will be
because that is the biggest. That is the biggest.
On our hand, basically, it doesn't change too much, to be honest, because actually we are active investors, but we are top-down allocators. So we take care and we look at the macro trends and the regimes, and we have our own convictions. But on the end of the day, our main objective is to create products that basically are all-weather products that will behave relatively well depending or whatever the conditions, right?
But it has to stand the test of time, because again, remember, we're talking about Golden Visa investments here, which is a minimum of a 5-year investment, probably 6, because of how long it takes to get your first biometric appointment at the moment. So we're not looking at short-term returns. You do offer, however, fund management opportunities for people outside of Golden Visa, right? So if you have investors that want to just invest additional funds, that is possible.
Yeah, we have. Actually, we didn't force too much in doing cross-selling, but normally some clients that basically like us and like our job, they normally come to us and basically trying to understand what we have more to offer, or basically to give them a piece of advice in terms of what are the other opportunities in Portugal. And normally we do that. We have some clients that basically have started investing with us with 250K or 500K and ended up with 1 million or a couple of million. So we are, because asset management is about also trust. It's a longer term.
Once people know you, it's a lot easier.
It's a longer term.
Do that.
Yeah, and we need to consider that most of the clients, they come to Portugal, and normally we are the first or the second point of contact that they have in Portugal. So it's very important for them that they feel that we are solid.
Me first, and then you.
First, yeah. Yeah, but sometimes we have lawyers and
I know.
in the middle of the process.
No,
So,
I'm joking.
So we are really focused on trying to transmit trust to the client, transparency on everything that we do.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm sure this merger is going to be very interesting when you start rolling it out, and I look forward to seeing what the products look like and how we can continue to cooperate.
We also.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you'd like more information about the funds and the opportunities in the Portugal Golden Visa market, or specifically about 3 and C2's products, please do drop us a note below. You can find some more information in the links below in the video. Thank you very much.